Okay, at number 1, I have kind of a more mainstream watch, but I wanted to get it out the way because I know it'd be brought up, and I've got tons of other kind of more unique watches after this watch. It is, of course, the Tissot PRX Powermatic 80. The Tissot PRX Powermatic 80 comes in at £640, which is a brilliant price for what you get. You get an integrated bracelet, you get a 70s design. Its measurements are to die for. It comes in at 40 millimeters, and it has a quick release strap, which you can sort of mix and match depending on what you want. Honestly, as a full package, this watch is brilliant, and it looks way more expensive than it actually is, hence this video. Now, the reason that you can tell that it's a Powermatic 80 model with 80 hours of power is because of that waffle dial, which adds that layer or extra layer of depth to the dial and makes it look just a little bit more premium. Another incredible spec is that it actually comes in at 10.9 millimeters in thickness, which is super, super thin, and it sits really nicely under a shirt cuff. To top that off, you have tons of colors to choose between. You've got green, black, and my personal favorite, ice blue. At number 2, coming in at £765, is the Certina DS Action Diver in 38 millimeters. This also has the Powermatic 80 movement, which is an ETA movement owned by Swatch, hence why a lot of the Swatch brands have that movement. This watch, of course, comes in stainless steel and is water resistant to 300 meters. And for the price, getting a diving watch that can do that can functionally work that way, that's pretty impressive. Now, there are a couple of color variations to choose between. I've put forward the black variation in this case because I think it's the most generic and would suit most people. Also, it's super, super simplistic. It also has sapphire crystal glass with anti-reflective coating, and it has a height or a thickness of 12.2 millimeters, which is pretty damn thin for a diving watch. Seriously, Certina as a brand is super, super underrated, and I would suggest to anyone to get some research done on them because they're honestly awesome. And also their kind of charity efforts to sustainability, that means a lot to me as a photographer. I mean, I see firsthand the deterioration of nature, and it's not nice. Coming in at number 3 and kind of carrying on that diving trajectory that we're on at the moment is the Tissot Seastar 1000 Powermatic 80. And this comes in at £740. And for the money, you get a hell of a lot of watch. This comes in at 43 millimeters in diameter and has a thickness of 12.7 millimeters. So again, the specs are pretty pleasant. Now, I've actually paired this watch with the rubber strap for you to give you a little bit of variance, a little bit of diversity amongst these watches. And the dial on this watch is super, super beautiful. It's a really dark blue kind of gradient of a dial. It's really sexy. This is also fitted with that trusty Powermatic 80 movement that we seem to see everywhere, and also has an open case back, which is super, super cool for a watch of this price point. And on that note, let's move on. Coming in at number 4, we have a very generic but very expensive looking Hamilton Khaki Field Automatic. This comes in at 38 millimeters and has the reference number H704555133. And this is equipped with the bracelet. This comes in at 11.5 millimeters in thickness and has sapphire crystal glass. The dial on this model is black, and that kind of really coincides very well with the stainless steel. The kind of light nature of the stainless steel compared or put together with black makes for a nice combination. The movement in this model is the H10 movement, which is an ETA movement again, because obviously Swatch own ETA, and this has 80 hours of power. Honestly, on the subject of this watch, I've seen tons of people working within the Chisholm Hunter showrooms that have this watch on and they combine it with a suit and it wears brilliantly. I think they've nailed the sizing. As an overall package, this comes in at £715 with the bracelet. And if you like this watch, then you're going to love the watch that's up next because it's the same vibe for a fraction of the price. On that note, if you are looking for any watches that are affordable, that look more expensive, I know a brilliant place to do that. It's Chisholm Hunter, where we stock most of these brands and a ton more. So head to chisholmhunter.co.uk if you're looking for your next watch or you even want to sell your watch. At number 5, we have the Seiko 5. That's weird, 5 and 5. This is the Midfield Sports. This comes in black, the dial is black, and it comes in full stainless steel. It's a very small watch coming in at 36.37 millimeters, and the thickness of this watch is 12.52 millimeters. It has an automatic movement with 41 hours of power and also comes in at 260 pounds, which is pretty bonkers. At number 6, we have one for all you digital watch lovers out there. We had to include it because it's Casio. This watch looks remarkably like a Cartier tag, and genuinely, true to the title of the video, looks more expensive than it actually is. This comes in at around about £60, is paired with a genuine leather band, and also the dimensions come in at 34.5 millimeters by 24.5 millimeters, and it's 8.3 millimeters thick. This, of course, is battery operated, and yes, it is less expensive than the other models that we were talking about, but come on, you cannot deny that this just looks so much more expensive on the wrist than it actually is. Next up, coming in at number 7 at 850 quid, we have the Raymond Vale Toccata. Toccata. It's almost like the meme. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. This is a quartz model coming in at 39 millimeters. It's super, super thin, wears beautifully on the wrist, and also it's very, very generic and more elegant. I feel like this could really last through the ages. And of course, it just looks that little bit more expensive than it actually is. Now, I've paired it with the bracelet because the bracelet on this watch has like a 5-link approach, and it is quite nice. To top that off, it also has blue anodized hands, which gives it an extra layer of elegance. Last, but certainly not least, coming in at £335, we have an old classic. We have something that's been spoken about far too much. We have the Tissot PRX in quartz. This model has all the brilliance that the Powermatic AT variant has, apart from it's a quartz model. So essentially you're not paying the same price, you're paying almost half the price because you don't have the Powermatic AT movement. This watch comes in at 40 millimeters, however, there's other variations you can get, and also there's tons of variations you can choose between in terms of color. It comes in at 10.4 mil in thickness, so it's really, really pleasant because it's so thin, because it doesn't have that Powermatic AT movement in it, and has that same 70s inspired look, 70s inspired design that the Powermatic AT has, and also it has pretty much, if not exactly the same bracelet as the Powermatic AT variant. It is, honestly, to look at, you'd think, oh, you guys know what I'm going to say. It's more expensive than it is. Thank you guys so much for watching this Chisholm Hunter video. If you have enjoyed, please hit that subscribe button or follow our podcast at Into the Mind Podcast, or just look up on YouTube, Into the Mind Podcast. And we'll see you guys real soon.